Welcome back to Cocktails with the Queens, honey. We are rolling. Okay, this show is popping tonight. But now we have reached the part of the show where we talk about our relationships and challenges we have faced in our lives and how we overcome them. Welcome to our queen. Tonight's topic will focus on the importance of knowing your beauty despite industry standards. This topic stems from a resurfaced interview of Joan Rivers on the Whoopi Goldberg show in the 90s. When I tell you this show was so deep, this moment, Whoopi poured into Rivers, who expressed insecurity in her looks and discussed the challenges of looking at herself in the mirror. Whoopi told Joan, when I wake up in the morning these days, I look in the mirror and I think, you know what? Smooches. Whoopi also told Joan, see, I look at you and I see a really beautiful woman. Queens. Can we change the perception of today's beauty standards for the young ladies that are coming up? But, beyond anything, what I want to know first, and since we really just touched on the acting world and, that whole, arena and that life, what I want to know from you ladies is, have you ever been in a predicament in your career, whether it was the beginning, the middle, or now, present, where you felt like Joan Rivers, where you felt unpretty, where you felt unworthy? What do you think, in your opinion, creates this persona, this perspective? Vivica, I'll start with you.
Well, being in front of the camera for the last 3 decades, I definitely went through a phase of wanting to be perfect. And when I say that, it was like, back in the days, it was before we accepted our round noses, our actual bodies that are thicker than being this big, that, people starve themselves to fit into the sample size. That's when the nose jobs happen. That's when and if you see yourself on camera, you're going to look for what's wrong instead of what's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm a woman in my 50s that now I embrace me and all of me, that I'm not perfect, that I'm a beautiful Black woman in my 50s, and to be satisfied with that. But It took a minute to get there, because there was definitely a phase of going through wanting perfection, or what I saw as perfection.
Lisa Ray, what do you think?
I always thought I was perfect, so I just showed up.
And it's over, ladies. Thank you very much. And
yeah, you know what I mean?
And the whole segment is over.
No, you get there and you see, the standard, like Vivica said, and you're like, oh, this is what they're looking for. And, you become the cookie cutter of. But when you realize that you're not the cookie cutter of that person, and there is such a big difference between you and that person, you have to be able to sell yourself for what you have to offer, which makes you different. And so the difference of that is that I like me, and I have always liked me. And let me tell you, it wasn't always easy, because people said I talk too fast, I have a little twang to my voice, and it was like, right, I am representing the women that look like me, that sound like me. That's me. And because when someone told me that, I was over enunciating all of my words and just being not me. And I was like, that is not me. And I'm this. I'm going to give you, hey, no, absolutely, absolutely, yes, yes. I'm going to do all that. Where I'm not going to be just a talking head. So you absolutely in this business got to have the confidence and know what you're selling. And you're right. The size too, because TV adds 10 pounds to you. People meet us and go, oh, you're much smaller than I thought. And it's almost like what you're saying, or you are actually pretty. And it's like, well, what you mean? You know what I mean? What you thought or whatever. I looked in the mirror and I know that I'm a pretty woman. I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I told you a long time ago that once they find that system or that procedure to get rid of cellulite, I'm going to be the first one in line. You know what I mean? So then that dimple that's on the back of my butt and on the side of my thigh going to be there. But y'all ain't never seen it. To watch. Y'all going to be looking for it now, though. No.
And Claudia, you've started off, you started off at Prices Right, but then you've been modeling, very high profile modeling and television, radio. Was there ever a time where you felt like, yo, I'm not pretty, I'm not enough?
I'm gonna be real about it and say all the time. Wow. Before I got into personality-based work, I was only hired and judged by my looks. And it, of course, is going to make you be overly critical. I remember as a young model, maybe 23 years old, I did a photo shoot in Florida, and this white man was a photographer. And I had my makeup done. I felt like I was pretty, and I was like doing my thing. And then he looks at me, he goes, he put his camera down. He says, you know, you'd be really hot if you got a nose job. Now, it's the middle of the shoot. I'm in my early 20s. I already compare myself to the other women. I already know I'm a little bit thicker. I ran track. I have thicker legs. Then you go on to get on a show like The Price is Right, where it's like the longest running game show on television, 40 years, I think now. And you have millions of people looking at you, and they break down everything. You smile too hard, your nose goes up, your top lip is too small, you need to get a butt job, you need to get your titties done. And I would not be honest if I didn't say it didn't affect me. Now, how about you go into your regular life? Yeah, maybe you had a breakup. Maybe you lost a parent. Maybe you had a fight with your boyfriend. Maybe you and your best friend ain't getting along. On top of all your regular life stuff, you got to see fans and trolls tell you that you ain't all that. You would have to be not human to not have that affect you. And I'm very much engaged. I engage with the public a lot, which has its blessings and it has its pros and its cons. I love being of the people, but it also allows people to get close to you. And it's hard to try to not let that affect you. I'm doing better at it. And what I did is focus more on my personality. I know I'm not the most beautiful. I'm not the tallest. I'm not the thinnest. That is fine. But I know is the most beautiful about me is my heart. And if I got you, I friggin' got you. And people that know me know that. So I had to value other parts of me, because these people in the chat that I'm looking at right now, there's about 4 people that love being negative every single show. And if that makes them feel good, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you can't take away from my soul, my spirit. And that is where my beauty comes from.
That's it, girl. Faith.
That's it. And F y'all that don't think so. How about that?
Yes.
You said that. And I'll just say real quick, we have to roll back the standards. Who created them? Who's the beginning? Who started this? Because it's really not the standard. The average American woman doesn't look like what you see on TV all the time. So we have to be more open to all people from all walks of lives, all shapes, sizes, color, creeds, and everything. So I think that we're moving towards that now. And I want to see that more in the Black community, us doing it of each other, because we're even more, we tear each other down more than the outside world does.
Yes, we do.
Excellent commentary, ladies.